Hey everybody, Brian Trow coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing with your fly fishing forecast. The date today is Monday, April 12th. So, had a little crazy storm come through the night before last. Weren't really expecting it, but on Saturday night we got a really good shot of rain. In fact, the whole western part of the state kind of got blown out. And so it's going to affect the fishing for several days, maybe even up to a week, depending on where you're going. When things are dry, we actually got a little dry, a little droughty. This time of year, you get a little dry. You don't have much rain or showers for 2 or 3 weeks. Everything settles. You've got pollen, you got dust, you got dirt, okay? And when you get a 1 or 2 inch shot of rain real quick, like we did on Saturday night, it just washes all that stuff. And so some streams that aren't like really big and swollen got really dirty. I crossed a lot of water yesterday. Just driving around the valley. We have our guides all out, and so we've got a pretty good feel for what's happening and what's not. So here's the deal. If you want to go up in the mountains, up really high to some of our high mountain streams, you're going to find them swollen. You're going to find them big. There's even places where the water was flowing through the trees, which always tells you that the waters are a bit high. But they're the first places to subside, all right, up high elevation, 2,000-3,000 feet, your brook trout streams. They're already fishable, most of them, by today. They'll even be more fishable by tomorrow. As you get down here in the valley floor, some of our larger streams like the Shenandoah, they're blown out. I think I looked this morning, it was like over 4,000 CFS. So what was going on with the bass prior to this was some of those males were starting to come out, and they'll actually practice sweeping their nests. We actually found a couple of swept nests, but with no fish on them yet, just before the rains hit. All right, so as the water subsides, if we don't get a lot of significant rain, it's probably going to take a good 5, 6, 7 days before the larger streams in the state, the warm water fisheries, are back online. They should be just about ready to spawn right when that happens. So, and hopefully for the fish all over the Commonwealth, we have some good water flow for the spawn, because some of our larger rivers, the Potomac, the James, the New, they've just suffered a lot of loss of spawn over the years. And every time you lose a major spawn or really hurt a spawn, that's one less spawn class in the river, and that shows up 2 or 3 years later when you're missing sizes of fish. All right, so keep your fingers crossed for a really good spawn this year. All right, but as soon as those waters come down, be on the lookout. I would not be surprised if in about 8 or 9 days you're going to start seeing fish moving on to nests. All right, we'll talk more about that once it happens. We'll talk about how to fish for them, when to fish for them, when not to fish for them, when to leave them alone, all that stuff. Okay, but for right now, if you're trying to get out in the next few days, go high to the brook trout streams. The brook trout streams are going to be fishing well. Some of the larger mayflies for the season are about to start to hatch, like our big March browns. So we can start sizing up. Also, just in general, attractor dries have been happening, okay? So stimulators, big rubber leg stimulators, humpies, any wolf-style fly that's really heavily hackled and really bushy. I pick my dry flies a lot of times, particularly for brook trout, based on water flow, okay? So when the water's up and it's really turbulent and your fly's drowning all the time, you just go bigger. So don't be afraid to take those size 10s and size 12s and take those with you. Gink up your flies. Make sure you've got your gink and your floatant. Get them ginked properly. Properly would be put your gink in before you get them wet. You don't need to glob it on, but get some gink going, and that works really well. So big wolf-style flies for the next few days. The spring creeks are in good shape. Mossy got dirty. Some of the other ones got dirty, but they're back to a little off color, which is a great time to fish them. We're still doing best on the spring creeks with sculpins, streamers, heavily weighted nymphs. Not a lot of topwater action yet. You're going to see more of that just in a couple of weeks. We're a couple weeks away from the first big sulfur hatches. So we'll be on top of that. For those of you who like tying flies, start tying your sulfurs. Be ready, okay? Sulfur comparidons, sulfur emergers. Those are going to be the big first major hatch here on the valley floor for the spring creeks for the year. All right, until then, You might see a caddis or two pop that you can fish. We talked about that before. So stay off the big waters till they come down, go up high in the mountains, fish your big wolf flies. If that's not happening, fish big nymphs, pheasant tail nymphs, hare's ear nymphs. Every major mayfly nymph that's going to hatch is in the stream right now, and the spring creeks are in pretty good shape. All right, I'll see y'all next week.